Welcome back to the deep dive. We're here to unpack the really cutting edge stuff, the innovations, genuinely changing things. And today, wow, we're diving into something that feels like it's straight out of science fiction, really. Large language models, I mean, you've seen them, right? They started as these incredible knowledge banks, think like the ultimate encyclopedia. But now they're evolving into something much, much bigger. Sophisticated general problem solvers. And the big dream here, the thing people call artificial general intelligence, or AGI,
Yeah.
well, it's not just about knowing facts. It's about models reaching, human-level thinking across all sorts of different areas. So our mission today is to figure out what it really takes for LLMs to actually boost real-world productivity. How do they handle the complex jobs, the professional stuff that needs more than just spitting back info? And this research we're looking at points to three core things, three capabilities that are all linked together. They're kind of the benchmark for a truly generalist model. Agentic abilities, complex reasoning, and advanced coding skills. ARC, you could say.
The trifecta, basically. Yeah.
Exactly. Now, here's what's so interesting. The challenge and the opportunity. We've seen some amazing performance from the big proprietary models, right? Like OpenAI's O models, Anthropic's Claude series. They've done groundbreaking things in parts of ARC. But finding one single powerful open source model that absolutely nails all three, that's been pretty tough. It's mostly been the closed systems leading the way.
It's been a gap in the open source world.
Definitely. So today we are digging into some really fascinating recent research. It's from Zhipu AI and Tsinghua University. They've actually got two new open source models out, and these are specifically built to bring together these very different but vital skills. So yeah, how are they doing it? Let's unpack this.
Okay, first off, let's maybe just quickly define these ARC capabilities, because they really are the bedrock of a generalist LLM. First up, agentic abilities. What are we actually talking about here? Well, it's the LLM's power to use external tools to interact with the real world, essentially.
Right, like using a browser or an API. Exactly. Why is that so crucial? Well, it takes the AI beyond just being a Q&A machine. It becomes an active doer, looking things up online, using software, controlling other programs maybe. It's moving from passive assistant to active player.
Yeah, it's about agency, taking action.
Then there's complex reasoning. And this isn't just like remembering facts it was trained on. We're talking solving tricky multi-step problems. Think advanced math, complex science questions. Stuff that needs real logical steps. Inference.
Not just pattern matching, but actual deduction, like figuring things out.
Precisely. Like how a scientist or a mathematician works through a problem. It's that deeper level of thinking. And number three, advanced coding skills. Again, way beyond just generating a simple code snippet. This is about tackling real software engineering, debugging nasty errors, refactoring big chunks of code to make them better, maybe even helping out on a big software project.
Being a genuine coding partner.
Oh,
almost. And what's really fascinating here, if you think about the bigger picture, is how putting these three things together, agentic reasoning coding, makes the whole AI system so much more robust, so much more versatile. I mean, think about it. An agent needs to reason about which tool is the right one to use, right? And it often needs coding skills, maybe to talk to an API or even write a quick script to get something done. So for AI to really become these general problem solvers we're aiming for, it can't just be good at one thing. It needs that smooth interplay between all three. And honestly, unifying them, that's been a huge hurdle. Getting it right really signals a massive step towards truly capable AI.
That makes a lot of sense. The synergy is key. Okay, so building on that challenge, let's introduce the main player in this research, GLM-4.5. This is the new open source model from Zhipu AI and Tsinghua. It's what they call a mixture of experts model and MoE.
MoE. It's an interesting architecture.
It really is. And the specs were pretty impressive. They mentioned 355 billion total parameters, but, and this is the clever part about MoE, it only activates a fraction of those for any specific task. Just 32 billion parameters are active at a time.
So it's efficient. It routes the task to the right experts within the model.
Exactly. It's not just about saving compute. It lets one model handle really diverse, complex stuff by calling on specialized parts, like having a team of experts ready to go.
Yeah, a very flexible approach.
And another cool thing is what they call its hybrid reasoning method.
Yeah.
It seems it can operate in a thinking mode, for the hard reasoning problems and those agentic tasks we talked about. But it also has a direct response mode for quick, simple answers. So it kind of knows when to pause and think deeply and when to just fire back an answer.
Adaptive, depending on the task complexity.
Nice. And this wasn't just thrown together. The paper talks about really intense multi-stage training. They used, get this, 23 trillion tokens of data.
Wow, 23 trillion. That's a huge amount of data.
Isn't it? And then extensive post-training, too. Things like expert model iteration, reinforcement learning. It shows just how much work went into refining this thing.
Serious development effort.
Okay, now for the performance results. And honestly, this is where it gets really interesting, especially thinking about those parameter counts. Despite having, as they say, much fewer parameters than several competitors, GLM 4.5 ranked, wait for it, third overall among all the models they evaluated. This was as of late July 2025.
Third overall, including proprietary models.
Including the big ones. And get this, it hit second place specifically on the Agentic benchmarks.
Okay, that is impressive for an open source MOE model.
It's huge. It basically throws a wrench in the idea that only the giant closed models can hit that top tier of generalist performance. Like, hey, open source can play at this level too.
Yeah, it really challenges that assumption.
Yeah.
Democratizing access, in a way.
Totally. Let's break down that agentic performance a bit more. It scored 70.1% on TAU Bench that tests planning and using tools for tasks, and 77.8% on BFCL v3. Now, context here. Those scores put it pretty much on par with Anthropic's Claude Sonnet 4, a top-tier proprietary model.
On par with Sonnet 4 on agent tasks. Wow.
Yeah. An open-source model acting autonomously, using tools just as well as a leading commercial one. And on BrowseCom, that's specifically for web browsing agents, GLM 4.5 got 26.4%. That actually beats Claude Opus 4, which was at 18.8%. And it's getting close to one of OpenAI's advanced models, which scored 28.3%, navigating the live web openly.
That's remarkable.
That really is. It shows it can handle dynamic, real-world environments, not just static benchmarks. That's critical for agents.
Absolutely. Okay, what about reasoning? Here, too, it showed really outstanding performance on some tough benchmarks that need serious logical thinking. We're talking 91.0% on AME 24. That's advanced math reasoning. 79.1% on GPQA, which is complex scientific Q&A. And 72.9% on live code bench, testing coding and reasoning together.
Those are very strong scores on difficult reasoning tests. Definitely. And they even tested it on HLE, Humanities Last Exam, notoriously hard, diverse problems. It got 14.4% there, which might sound low, but for HLE, it shows capability across a really broad, tough spectrum.
Yeah, HLE is designed to push limits. Getting any score there is notable.
And coding, how did it do there? Pretty well. 64.2% on SWE Bench, verified that's about fixing real bugs in software projects. And 37.5% on Terminal Bench, which is using a command line. The researchers point out it actually outperforms GPT 4.1 and Gemini 2.5 Pro in coding, and it's close to Claude Sonnet 4.
Outperforming 4.1 and Gemini 2.5 Pro in coding.
Okay. So browsing the web, solving tough math, writing and fixing code, it's hitting high marks across the board, real integrated ARC skills in an open source package. That's the takeaway.
That unified capability is exactly what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Really significant.
And they didn't just release the big one. There's also GLM 4.5 Air. This is a smaller MOE model, 106 billion parameters. So smaller, but still substantial.
Okay, a more compact version.
Yeah, and it's important because the smaller one still represents a major step up for models in that sort of 100 billion parameter range. It apparently matches or even beats other models in its class, like Qwen 3235B, A22B, and Minimax M1. It ranked 6th overall in their evaluation.
That's really crucial. It's not just about the absolute biggest models.
Right.
Absolutely. High-performing, but more compact models like GLM 4.5 Air are incredibly important for the whole AI ecosystem.
Yeah.
Think about accessibility, right? They're easier to deploy, easier to run, maybe even on hardware that isn't, massive data center scale.
Makes sense.
And it accelerates research. More people can work with them, academics, smaller companies, even individual developers.
Right.
It means cutting-edge AI isn't just locked away behind huge compute walls. It spreads the capability out. That's a really big deal for innovation.
Good point. Broadens the playing field. So, pulling it all together,
Right.
What's the big picture here? What does this all mean?
Well, I think the launch of GLM 4.5 and its smaller sibling, GLM 4.5 Air, is genuinely a landmark moment for open source LLMs. They clearly show really strong unified abilities across those key areas: agentic, reasoning, and coding. And that's huge because, like we said, it powerfully challenges that idea that only closed proprietary systems can deliver this level of integrated high-end performance.
Yeah, it breaks that barrier.
It does. And it shows it can be done, potentially more efficiently too, using things like that MOE architecture, even with fewer active parameters sometimes.
So connecting this back to that bigger vision, Where does this take us?
I think it pushes us quite a bit closer to that concept of LLMs as true general problem solvers. By actually demonstrating mastery across these really different but critical skills ARC models, like GLM 4.5 are making tangible progress towards that very ambitious goal of artificial general intelligence.
So the AGI dream just got a bit more real, and importantly, a bit more open.
Exactly. It feels like a concrete open source step in that direction.
Which leaves us with a thought for you, our listener, to chew on.
Yeah, maybe think about this. Now that powerful open source generalist AI models like GLM 4.5 are becoming more accessible, how might that start to reshape things? How could it change industries or boost innovation? Or maybe even just alter how we tackle complex problems in our everyday work and lives, knowing this kind of capability is out there and potentially in more hands?